Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Catcher Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
You remember last Wednesday at this time? We were slipping, sliding, coming to work. There was white snow and ice everywhere. People couldn't go, hardly do anything. 1 week later, here we are, nice sunshine, going to be about 70 degrees today. But there's still pockets of ice out there, and I can't believe it. You know, I see it on the side of the road coming into work. You see one here, one there. It's, where spots where sun just doesn't get to during the day. It just amazes me. There's still pockets of ice out there. When temperatures have been above freezing at night for a while, and of course temperatures during the day have been way on up there compared to what there was last week. But still pockets of ice out there. It's going to be amazing to see what that last pocket of ice is. I got one neighbor in my yard when they scraped the roads to the sides. There was a big pile of ice, and that's what's left there, and it's down to about a quarter of its size.
See the video of that big chunk of ice that fell in that car under the bridge, Talmadge Bridge?
In Savannah?
It's like a bomb went off. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't see that video.
It destroyed the car. Man,
so a big block of ice just fell. Yeah. Moral of this story is do not park your vehicles under a bridge during an ice storm. The moral of that story.
He was going under the bridge.
Oh, he was driving. Yeah. No, he was in the vehicle, huh? Don't drive under a bridge then. When there's an ice storm.
So it was like a bomb went off. I mean, it was just a big old.
Did it hit like the front or the back? I guess it didn't hurt him.
I think he was okay, but the car was pretty much
destroyed.
Damaged pretty bad.
Yeah, well, the more luck. Okay, we got Buddy calling in here, Buddy Deloach. We'll take a quick break. In 30 seconds, we'll have him on the air. Hold on.
Here's your WIFO forecast.
Good morning, everyone. Waking up to fair skies on this Wednesday morning. Our temperatures are in the 40s. That's a nice break from the frigid temperatures of early in the week. Looks like we've got sunshine around today with highs in the upper 60s. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 45. Tomorrow for Thursday, we've got sunshine. Again, we'll stay in the mid-60s, but a big warm-up on Friday with a high of 75. I'm Georgia meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the GNN Weather Center.
And it's time now for the World Famous Butch and Bob Show. On the phone with us is State Representative Buddy Deloach. Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm doing better when I feel like I'm in Wayne County.
Yeah, you mentioned at the Eggs and Issues you're ready to get back to Wayne County, get a good meal. There's plenty of good place to eat here. There's no good place to eat up in Atlanta? They don't treat you well?
They've got a lot of places to eat, but it's not like eating at home, Bob.
It's too expensive, right?
They are very expensive.
Well, you've been up there a couple of weeks. We talked to Blake yesterday, but just want to get your thoughts on how things are going. What do people need to know about what's on the horizon? What are the controversial issues? Your thoughts on the legislative session, which is underway.
Well, I think we're building a pretty good base to work out some good things for the budget. Nothing yet I can talk about, but I know Senator Tillery and Representative Chairman Stephen Meeks are both working hard on that. One of the things that I'm really happy with is that Chairman Meeks now chairs the Appropriations Subcommittee on Economic Development, and that's a real plum to have somebody in your delegation that's in a position like that. And then, of course, in the Senate, we've got the chair of Appropriations, so that's pretty strong. I retained my chairmanship of Ethics, and I was also appointed the vice chair of Insurance. And for those of you that have visited me before at the Capitol, I was in the Legislative Office Building, and my office is now in room 401 of the Capitol Building.
Well, the governor had a State of the State address. You were on hand for that. Your thoughts on that? As we talked to Blake yesterday, a lot of talk about tort reform, so tell us your thoughts on that.
Well, that's what the governor really spent a lot of time talking about, to make it clear that it's his very highest priority this session. And we've already done some work. I serve on judiciary, and we'll be ready to go. I'm not sure that anybody's going to get everything they want, but I do think it's time that some changes be made. One of the big issues is on premises liability. For instance, if you own a business and you might be closed and gone home, and in the middle of the night some activity takes place there, frequently illegal activity. Somebody shoots somebody, and we don't feel like that property owner ought to be hit with $1 million suit for something that he had nothing to do with.
And just joining us on the phone, State Representative and Buddy Deloach. Last night's school board meeting, and the county's also dealt with this issue. They have to decide whether they're going to opt out or stay in this House bill. Can you explain what House Bill 581 is, the new single statewide homestead exemption?
Yeah,
It's a confusing. They were debating it last night. They were really struggling with it. They said they really won't know anything until after the session. So explain what that is and what's taking place.
okay. Around Georgia, many counties had adopted their own homestead exemption that had the impact of freezing appraised values for tax purposes. Liberty County has something like that. Long Glen, a lot of those people do, and that just means if your assessment goes up, you receive a homestead exemption in an amount that would offset that assessment, and that's all been done with local legislation before. So this last year we passed a statewide bill that gave local governments the opportunity to opt in to have that same type homestead exemption in their counties, the ones that don't already have it. And we made it optional. So, for instance, the school board could decide, yes, we want to, in effect, freeze homeowners, it applies to homeowners only, freeze their assessments. If they opt out of that, nothing changes if you don't already have one. So it's not going to change your existing homestead exemption. This is something new that they could opt into.
Well, just to let our listeners know, both the county and the school board last night, they decided to stay in. They decided not to opt out. So I don't know if that's good or bad. They said they really didn't know what to do because they really didn't know what the situation. They said it's a unknown entity. They were really battling with the decision. So it just sounded confusing to me.
That's correct to the point that they may not have been able to determine how much money that's going to mean to them. It simply means for everybody that has a homestead exemption, they're not going to get automatic growth based on increased values of the property. They can still set their millage rate wherever they need to set it. It's just a matter. It's not going to affect commercial property. It's not going to affect anything except where people can file for that homestead exemption. So I don't know that the economic impact on either entity is going to be real great.
Okay, well, I appreciate you explaining that because I'm still trying to figure out what House Bill 581 is. Before you went to Atlanta, you were at the eggs and issues you talked about. A big topic is how much money is needed to go towards the federal correction system. There's a lot of problems dealing. You mentioned, I think, at the eggs and issues that the prisoners are pretty much running the asylum. There's a lot of deaths taking place in prisons. Like I said, if a person's sentenced to prison, they don't have to go sentence and do their time, but it shouldn't be a death sentence. So explain what all's taking place and what the governor plans to do and how much money we're talking about going towards these institutions.
That's still a work in progress, but I do think the one thing they have discovered as they began to seek solutions to that problem is it's going to be very expensive and perhaps more expensive than anybody anticipated up to this point. So it's probably going to be a multi-year process, and it's going to involve building a lot of new buildings. Buildings are going to have to be built so that you can separate prisoners and keep them safe. And they're going to have all of the new technology that's available today. And what that does is that helps with our situation of not having enough correctional officers. What we're paying correctional officers now, it's very difficult to hire those that will come to work get trained up, and stay. So part of that solution, I think, is going to be to increase pay and also do something to improve retirement benefits.
And another area that the governor talked about putting more money towards is education and security at schools. So, your thoughts on that?
We've been putting more and more money toward education every year, and particularly since Brian Kemp's been governor. If you look at what we've done with teacher salaries, they've increased dramatically. I think that they're not too high by a long shot, and we probably need to continue to do that if we're going to retain our teachers. But at least we're at the point now that we don't have teachers leaving, going to neighboring states because they can make more money. I think there are other things that we do in the schools. I think we can have more teachers' aides in elementary schools and pay them well. That's so important, and they do such a great job for us. As far as the security goes, there are a lot of, as we all know, technological innovations that can be put in place. I really want us to look at some of the programs that have been developed by schools that have had those problems. Way back when Sandy Hook happened, one of the families of a girl that was killed at Sandy Hook developed a program for schools where it really changed the culture in the school. They go in and they teach those kids to look for other youngsters that seem to be isolated, that are loners, and they teach them how to engage with them. And they get the students invested in understanding that that's how they keep their world more secure. And what it really does is change the culture in the schools, so we get away from bullying and all that sort of thing. I'd really like to see us try some of those programs.
And what's on your schedule for today and the rest of the week? What's on? What kind of committees are you on this year?
I mentioned that I chair ethics and a vice chair of insurance. I'm on judiciary. I'm on natural resources. I'm on juvenile justice. I'm on retirement. I'm sure I'm leaving. Oh, I'm on regulated industries, which is a new one for me, but it's one where we have a lot of activity because we have regulated industries in Georgia. So we're really heating up as far as beginning to get a number of bills working through the system so they get to the committee process. And the chair of regulated industries has indicated that he wants me to chair a subcommittee on professional licensing. So I'll have a lot to do between my insurance committee and the regulated industries. And I hope I don't have an awful lot of activity in my ethics committee, because that generally means that somebody is in trouble.
Well, we appreciate you being here on Wednesdays here on the world famous Butch and Bob show. If anybody wants to get a hold of you up there in Atlanta, what's the best way to do that?
I have a new phone number, so I have not committed that to memory, but they can simply Google me. If you Google Buddy Deloach, it will give you my new office number there, and my new administrative assistant, actually committee assistant now. Her name is Lauren, Lauryn, and I promise you, if you give her a message, she makes sure I return every phone call.
Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate you being here on the show. We'll look forward to talking to you next Wednesday. Stay safe in Atlanta.
Great.
Thank you, buddy.
Great to be. Thank you.
Take care. All right, State Representative Buddy Deloach here on the world famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. And Bob, 2 days in a row, I've been able to hook the Bluetooth to our new audio board just right. I think I may have it figured out now.
It sounds good too.
It does sound
nice
good
and clear. So
yeah, it does sound good. It's like our when we do ball games, it's all done by cellular service, which has that HD audio. Unlike with a regular phone line, they don't have that. So if we were using, let's say, the phone up here as we have in the past. it would sound like it was on a phone line, but with HD audio on cell phones, because he called from a cell phone, and it has a lot better audio quality to it. So it's good that we have this Bluetooth here on this new audio board that was installed a few months back. Working out good. Working out good. So, Buddy Deloach today, hopefully State Representative Stephen Meeks will be able to be free next Monday morning and be on the world-famous Butch and Bob show with Monday with Meeks, Stephen Meeks. Tuesdays with Tillery, with Blake Tillery, State Senator, and then State Representative Buddy Deloach on Wednesdays here on the world-famous Butch and Bob show.
And once again, just want to remind everybody, this Friday's show, Lindsey Thomas Jr., the Chief Communications Officer for the National Deer Association, Wayne County native, lifelong Wayne County deer hunter, will be in studio, talk about the recent news that DNR found chronic wasting disease in a deer in Georgia for the first time. So again, he'll be on hand. Talk about that, take any questions you have regarding deer management and deer hunting in the state of Georgia. So looking forward to having him in the studio on Friday.
Somebody just texted in, anyone know why the school board has a called meeting? You want to go
the call meeting.
Say that information again.
The only item on the agenda today is for the superintendent recommendation. They're going to vote to make interim superintendent Tony Williams the full-time superintendent today.
Okay.
That vote should be either 4-1 or 5 votes. Like I said, Sharon Daniels was the only one that voted against her. They had to wait 14 days to make it legal, so they're making it legal this morning at 8 o'clock. That's the reason for the meeting.
Okay. All right. That's the reason. She's been interim school superintendent now for a few months, and she is using her skills and especially her math skills and bookkeeping skills to get things in order there in the Wayne County schools and her relationships with the different people in the schools.
All right. Definitely getting a handle on that financial situation, which was the big issue.
Yeah, big
several
issue.
months ago.
She's getting the handle on it.
All right. If anybody knows numbers, she knows
It's
numbers.
Tony. She knows it. All right. So that's what they're doing today. They are going to vote her in as the schools
As the
full-time.
superintendent, right.
She's already interim, but full-time school superintendent for Wayne County.
Right. They voted to make her the lone candidate. Like I said, they didn't conduct a search. And I said Sharon Daniel was the only board member that voted against. I had a guy last night at the board meeting stating they should have done a search. He thinks it's a bad optic. Said she doesn't have any educational background. That her background's basically in chief financial officer. So, but again, they're happy with what's going on with Miss Williams. The board members seem to be pleased with the direction that the financial situation's going, and like I said, she has a lot of experience with the school system. So
Many years with
the board members I've talked to are very pleased with what's taking place, and they're pleased with the direction the school system's going. So I look for that vote, like I said, to be approved this morning. It'll either be 4-1 or 5-0, depending on what board member Sharon Daniels decides to do.
Okay. All right. So that's what's going on this morning, and that's the reason why they had a school board meeting here in Wayne County. All right, Bob, is the line still 2 for Kansas City?
Still 2, staying at 2 right now. And, that's a scary line, less than a field goal. But the Chiefs are going for that 3-peat. But I say Philadelphia really impressed Vegas that performance against Washington.
I know they almost seem like they're really on a team with a mission. There's some people who've said they wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia wins by more than 2 touchdowns.
Saquon Barkley is having a phenomenal season, so that's going to be the key for Kansas City. They're going to have to stop the running game and force Jalen Hurts, as they said, to beat you with his arm, which he's been capable of doing all year. He's got some good receivers out there, but like I said, I'll let see history. We'll see how it plays out. But
yeah, I'd like to see history with Kansas City.
Patrick Mahomes is hard to bid against, and Travis Kelce's a beast at tight end situations, so it should be a great game. I think it's shaping up to be a good game.
Yeah, it should be a really good game.
So.
Like most all the players are going to be in the game, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 on each team, but most of them are going to be there.
Georgia fans most likely pulling for Philadelphia because, like I said, most of the defensive starters on Philadelphia are from the University of Georgia.
But they are 1 or 2 on Kansas City, isn't there? I'm saying come from Georgia, but are from the state of Georgia, I think. I think I heard GNN Sports say there's a couple in Kansas City that graduated high schools for here in Georgia, but I'm not totally positive on that. But Georgia definitely have a connection with the Philadelphia Eagles. UGA does. Picked up some of the big guys.
They've gone after that defensive unit of Georgia. Like I said, Jalen Carter's there, Nolan Smith's there, Keely Ringo's there. Kobe Dean, unfortunately, won't be able to play in the Super Bowl. He tore the pectoral muscle in the first playoff game, so he's out for the season. But Nolan Smith, they got a pile of Georgia defenders on that defensive side of the ball for Philadelphia, and they're playing really well. Jalen Carter's having a great year for the Philadelphia Eagles, big defensive lineman. So he had a big game this past week against Washington, made a lot of sacks at the quarterback, Jaden Daniels. So should be a great game, but the line right now is still staying at 2.
Okay.
Kansas City favored by the 2 points.
Two at this time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see how that. Like I said, a lot of people jumping on that Philadelphia because they believe the Eagles, it's their year. So
their year. Sometimes, take a look at some of these teams. It's just their year. They're peaking at the right time.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I can't believe that's coming out of Pittsburgh Steelers fans' mouth.
I'm just saying they sing it all the time. I was listening to AM 1370, or not. I was listening to the morning talk show today. They said that they like the Eagles players, they like the city, but their fans are just too obnoxious.
Yes, they are very. It is definitely not the city of brotherly love. Let me tell you, they just. If they win the Super Bowl, they're going to have the entire National Guard of Philadelphia, of Pennsylvania there in Philadelphia to protect all the property. I don't know why people think it's okay to destroy property when your team wins a championship. I've never understood that. That it doesn't make sense to me to go out there and turn over cars and cut things, burn things, and break into stores and stuff like that just because your team won a championship.
It was pretty cool last weekend at the Fox set. Bradley Cooper, big Philadelphia Eagle fan, he stopped by to see Terry because they were in that movie Failure to Launch.
Failure to Launch.
And Howie Long was like, "Please don't bring that movie back up." If you're familiar with that movie.
Yeah, that was John Travolta and all that, wasn't it? This is another one. This is
Bradley Cooper and Terry
Bradley
Bradshaw.
Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, and Terry's up in the fish, fixing his fish tank, and he has no clothes on. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
That's why Howie Long was saying, "Please don't bring that up. Don't bring that sight up."
No, I'm thinking another movie with Howie Long, the one with John Travolta, where it's what was it, Broken Arrow or something like that? Yeah, that Broken Arrow there.
This is Failure to Launch. Where
Failure to Launch, yeah.
Where the Bradley Cooper's character didn't want to get married.
Yeah, he didn't want to get out of his house, did he, or something like that?
He got out of his house, but he wasn't. The failure to launch was he didn't want to launch his marriage. He just wanted to try to stay single. So
just stay single, huh?
It's a pretty good movie. I can't.
One of them rom-coms.
I can't remember.
Was there a woman involved that he fell in love with eventually? Another one rom-com. Yeah.
I can't remember who the female in the movie is. But,
okay.
But Bradley Cooper is the male star. But like I said, Terry Bradshaw he plays Bradley Cooper's father. I think if I'm not mistaken, I say Kathy Bates was the mother in the movie, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
But it's a good movie. I got it on DVD somewhere now.
But Howie is in there.
No, Howie just said when Bradley Cooper came up and talked about the movie, he said, "Please don't bring that movie up." Because
don't bring it up.
They had that vision of Terry Bradshaw showing his.
Oh yeah, I remember that when Terry Bradshaw was the father.
Right.
Yeah, and he's in there
fish tank, and
he's in that. He's in his. Once the kid moved out, once Bradley moved out, he took over the room, and it was his naked room. Right. I remember that now, and he's walking. He gets to walk around that room just as naked as a jaybird. And he's behind that fish tank in that scene in that room. I remember that now. Yeah.
And Howie was like, please
don't bring that back. We don't need to see that again. That's a sight we've been trying to get out of our brain for years.
we don't need to see that vision again. But it was pretty cool for Bradley Cooper to come up there. He said that him and Terry have remained friends ever since they did that movie. And I think the movie was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah. Terry's belly's gotten a lot bigger and then smaller, now big again. As he's gone through diets, and now I think he's just determined. I think he's just say, I'm just going to stay the weight I am without worrying about going on these diets.
He's been through a lot of health issues. He talked about that on the
he did about 3 years ago. Yeah. So he's
just glad he's doing well. So.
Yeah, he seems like he's doing well. Yeah.
I believe Fox has the broadcast too. I think.
Yeah, Fox has the Super Bowl this year, so we'll get to hear
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. How's he going to do with the the color? he brings up a lot of insights that I haven't heard other analysts say, other color guys say, that he brings up that insight that he has in football.
I've enjoyed listening to him as the comment. Like I said, he has a lot of knowledge. Definitely can tell you what the defense is doing. So it's kind of like Saban on the college game day. They bring so much knowledge. It's fun to listen to them. So I thought Brady's done a good job this year.
Yeah, but you're going to have critics out there. You have critics of everything, and you get a lot more publicity if you're a critic than you are someone that agrees with something. So you got critics out there, left, right, forwards, and back. But it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to get criticized. Just do what you do and do it the best you can. Don't worry what other people say. And I thought he's been. I mean, I wish they'd turn his mic up just a hair because of that background noise. So you can, but he's done a good job.
At least the weather won't be a factor. Like I said, they'll be indoors in the stadium.
Yeah, luckily in most Super Bowls now these days, they like to put them in the sunny areas or the domes. And you don't have to worry about that in the dome. Next time it goes back to Atlanta, they'll be in the Mercedes-Benz in that dome there, and love those domes. Got to worry about that weather.
Should be a great game. They got the Pro Bowl stuff this weekend. So
yeah, all the Pro Bowl stuff going on. Going to be a lot of fun. So
it's unbelievable how many people have opted out of that Pro Bowl game. J.J. Watt says they need to call it the Participation Bowl because when you get down to the third, Russell Wilson for the Pittsburgh Steelers is now one of the quarterbacks on the AFC because Josh Allen's opted out, Lamar Jackson's opted out, so they're down. So.
I think if they opt out, then they should not be called a Pro Bowler.
That's what.
How many of these players say, 4-time Pro Bowler, 5-time Pro Bowler. If they decide to opt out, then that should be dropped from their resume.
As a diehard Steelers fan, I can assure you, Russell Wilson is not a Pro Bowl quarterback.
And he wasn't one time.
Yeah, back when he won the Super Bowl.
Back when he was younger had Pete Carroll as a coach.
I'm going to call Pete Carroll and please take Russell Wilson back. You can have him in Vegas.
Take him to Vegas.
Take him to Vegas. I don't want him.
Well, Pete's already got rid of him once, so he's not going to take him back.
And I still can't Pete. That Super Bowl where they just threw the interception at the 1-yard line and didn't give to Marshawn Lynch is just.
I have no idea why they did that. No idea. I'm sitting there with a bunch of folks who were watching, and we just could not believe you got the best running back in the entire nation right there, and you don't give it to him on the 1-yard line.
And Russell Wilson would have had 2 Super Bowl rings under his belt. But that's still the dumbest call in history, Super Bowl history. And that just made no sense. If you go back and watch that drive, they were at the 30-yard line. Marshawn Lynch takes us from the 30 down to the 22. He takes from the 22 down to the 10. He takes down to 10 down to the 1, and then they decide to throw the ball. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, it's like when the coach said the other day, Coach Bourne said, "Well, it's analytics." They use that a lot, and I guess they used it back then. Even I know they do use it more today, but I guess they use analytics. Well, the computer says analytics say that this would be the great play because they're going to be expecting that 1-yard run. Well, it wasn't like 4th down, was it?
No.
So.
It was a bad call for sure.
Definitely a bad call. There's going to be Pro Bowl games, all that talent stuff tomorrow in Orlando. Tomorrow, late afternoon into the evening, you get to see them do all kinds of fun stuff. Their skills competition, and then on Sunday will be the flag football game and other skill competitions. It's like going to exhibition baseball games down in Orlando. This is basically what this is. It don't mean anything, but it's fun to see the stars there, see your top players there, and have a fun time. And they're a little more personal. They talk a little bit more, and that's kind of look at it. It's kind of like preseason baseball, but it's the Pro Bowl games. They don't even call it the Pro Bowl game. They call it the Pro Bowl games.
I think J.J. Watt has the good title for it, Participation Bowl. If it's not a Pro Bowl anymore, it's just a Participation Bowl. Players come and participate.
Well, they do
play flag football.
Participate, yeah. But they do participate.
But half of them are not what you would call Pro Bowl players.
Well, they try to get the best players. They call them Pro Bowl players, but some of them don't show up. And if they don't show up, then they shouldn't be called a Pro Bowl player. It's the way I feel about it. That's just me. That's just me. Here you are. You love that honor. You like putting it on your resume. 5-time Pro Bowler. Well, if you didn't show up, you shouldn't be called one. Yeah. You didn't participate. Yeah. Unless you got a major injury or you're one of the two teams in the Super Bowl, you need to be there. I'm too good for those Pro Bowl games. I'm not going to show up. I don't know, Bob. I don't know.
Surprised Josh Allen didn't go. I mean, I know he's disappointed he didn't win the game, but still, I mean, he's definitely a Pro Bowl player.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
And Lamar Jackson the same way. But Russell Wilson, sorry. The fact that they're listing him as a Pro Bowl, it really should be against the law. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Can't be against the law, Bob, and no laws have to do with this.
There should be.
No legislative have passed. The Congress didn't pass it.
As a diehard Steeler fan, I'm telling you, Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback, he needs to be gone tomorrow.
Do they call him a Pro Bowl player? I mean,
yeah,
will he be able to put that on his resume?
Yes, I guess.
Four-time.
He's going to be wearing the Pro Bowl jersey.
Yeah, but
he's going to represent the AFC.
Can he put that on his resume? Because he didn't get elected to it. He just got, no one else above him wanted to go.
He's on it now.
Right.
He's in the participation bowl. He's going to participate.
He's going to participate, but he's not a Pro Bowler. He's a participation.
He's trying to get another contract. I mean, the Steelers owner came out and said they got two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and they're not signing both of them. They're signing one. Well, Justin Fields is 10, 12 years younger than Russell Wilson. So please go with Justin Fields and not Russell Wilson. Give Russell Wilson a ticket to Vegas. Pete Carroll, come get your former quarterback.
Take him back. You know that. He's already got rid of him once. He knew how he had gone down in talent.
He needs a quarterback. He doesn't have one.
Well, he's going to have to find somebody younger.
Russell Wilson. He's familiar with Russell Wilson.
He don't want Russell. He got rid of him one time.
We're going to ship him to Vegas tomorrow.
Here's your bus ticket. Hit the road,
as soon as he gets out of Orlando, he can go from Orlando to Vegas.
Right straight to Vegas, huh?
Get out of Pittsburgh.
All right, Bob. We'll see what happens, okay?
I'm begging.
You're begging the Roonies to get rid of him, huh?
Yes. Pete Carroll will take him tomorrow.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens, Bob.
See ya.
We'll see if your wishes come true. World-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO. 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by the Service Department at GNS Auto Sales, by First Southern Bank, Murphy Builder Supply, and by Heron Aldridge Insurance.